this isn't over. They may have dropped the restrictions, but look very closely at the language that they're using. So, somebody from New York City shared the text that they got. It says, as of March 7th, New York City to suspend Key to NYC program. Now, if you needed some clarification on what it means to suspend versus to end something, end means it's over, it's finished, it's not coming back. To suspend something means that it's temporary and that we can bring them back on an as needed basis, and it's not even implied. If you listen to the mayor of New York, Mayor Adams' speech he gave on Friday talking about how his health commissioner, I believe Chodsky, is going to be leaving soon. He says, we're going to be looking at the numbers, what those numbers are, what they want to see those numbers, any specific metrics. They couldn't tell us, but they're looking at those numbers. And if those numbers go back up, then they reserve the right to bring back the Key to NYC. This is also the reason that he gave for not hiring back the city workers. He said, well, they didn't comply. And if we have to do this again, then I can't count on them to comply. So we're not bringing them back. It's a punishment, is what he's saying. You don't want to comply, you're not going to work here. Because anytime we want to shoot you up, anytime we want to put on a demand onto your work requirements that you inject yourself, you mask yourself up, you don't comply, you're out of here. Unless you're one of our robot automatons. I don't know what the word is. I messed that up. But so I really wanted to find out what it means to be normal, right? To end restrictions, everything. COVID is done. COVID is over. It is endemic, and we don't test and trace and monitor to this extent for any of these other things. And we do not do them for COVID. So let's really clarify what we mean here by normal. So again, this is a tweet I really like. It came out from Educators for Normalcy, and it talks about what is meant by normal. So, normal means never bringing back mask mandates ever again. Right? If you want a mask, mask. If there's something that is going on that requires one to put on a personal protective safety equipment, I would assume that people are going to put on the personal protective safety equipment because they see, oh, something's going on here and I should do this and this thing seems effective. The government should not mandate it. No, normal means no quarantines or school closures, right? We never did quarantines or school closures in the past for any of these other things. Like maybe there are isolated incidents of these things that have happened. I'm not saying it's never ever happened, but it's not a general standard that we follow. Normal means no testing and tracing. We didn't test or trace for any other things in the school on a regular basis in any way. You took care of that yourself, right? If there was like an outbreak of lice, or like I do know, like at my son's daycare, if there was like RSV going around, they would say, hey, like we have this going on, like be aware. So you can make your own personal choice. You need information to make a choice, but there was nothing that was being mandated by the state or by these uh facilities, these little kid facilities, daycare facilities. Normal means no separating children by vaccination status or even talking about it for any reason. None. There is no reason my child needs to disclose his vaccination status to you. There's no reason that you need to have records disclosing that information to you so that you can then use it to inform anything you do in your classroom or in your school building. You do not need that information. It doesn't matter. The vaccine is for your protection. Don't worry about my son. If anybody wanted it, they can go get it. They can go walk right down the street and they'll jab them up right now. They can walk down the street another place and they'll jab up the other arm right now. They'll even pay you to do it. Right? These are personal health decisions. And in the case of children, they are the decisions that should be a choice made by their parents. And if those parents choose so, in consultation with their personal doctors. Speaking of parents, let's talk about the parents. Because I've been locked out of my child's school all year until recently. Speaking of parents, all parents must once again be welcomed into school buildings. Parents are an essential part of any school community, and they should never, in any circumstance, I don't care if it's a pandemic or what, be banned from entering the school building where their child spends the day. How can I send my child into a school building that I myself am not allowed to enter? How can I send my child to a school building that I myself am not welcomed into, to see the conditions of, to meet the people, to make sure that my child is in good hands? How can I trust you? How can we have a relationship if I'm not even allowed in the building and yet you want my child for the day? And then all school activities should resume as normal. That includes lunch and snack time. None of these you can't eat in the cafeteria stuff. None of this like doing it in shifts and only sitting along one side. None of this you can't talk during snack time. None of this let's sit and watch a movie because we don't want you to talk. So here, go look at a screen because that's exactly what you need. You need more screen time, right? Normal means we're doing group activities. We're not limiting the number of students in a group because of anything to do with a virus. Just it would be logistical reasons, right? You don't want too many kids in a group. Um, but you can have big group activities too, right? Um, go on field trips. I don't want to see any stupid masks on the ends of instruments or masks over kids' face while they're playing instruments that have a hole in the mask. Like, really? It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, literally. Athletics, normal. No mass in athletics, no limiting spectators in athletics, no limiting who can play in athletics, right? Assemblies and other large events like graduations need to resume as normal. And there's no COVID-19 vaccine mandates for student athletes, extracurricular activities, or for parents to come to said graduation assemblies, athletic events. None of this discriminating based on vaccination status. The only ticket in the building that any parent needs is that their child goes there. The only ticket in the building any child needs is that they are a child who needs an education, who wants to participate in a sport and another activity, right? So this is what normal means. Normal means normal. It means going to school like it's fall of 2019 and where we still live in a free country where personal choice is respected. All right, that's my TED Talk for tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you've smashed that like button and leave me a comment down below. And while you're down there, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos, which you can watch more of by clicking here, or for even more, go to teachingliberty.org and join our community today.